Well, there are exactly 3 weeks until the London Marathon. This week I've been to Barcelona. I have run up a mountain and I am battling some pain in my legs. Welcome to PKSRUNS. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Paul and this is PKSRUNS. I am a 2:45 marathoner. I'm going for 2:40 at London in 3 weeks' time, but increasingly I think the dream is slipping through my fingers. This week has been a tough week. If you've been following this journey from the beginning, you'll know that this marathon training block has really stretched me emotionally, physically. I've not had to deal with injury per se, but I've had some real strong niggles. I've had some extreme exhaustion. I've had 2 transatlantic trips to the States to contend with. There has been nothing ordinary about this marathon training block. And just like that, another week has passed. It's Sunday morning and I'm out on my long run. As is customary, let's have a little look at the week that has just gone. As I said at the beginning, spent a few nights in Barcelona with my family, which was absolutely fantastic, celebrating my dad's 80th birthday. I can't believe he's that old. Incredible. But it has meant that it has not been by any means a standard training week. So on Monday there was actually no running whatsoever, largely because my sister, who had booked the flights to Barcelona, had mistakenly booked flights to Barcelona Rias, which is about 80 miles away. So on arrival we discovered that we really weren't actually all that close to Barcelona, and we had to find transport there. That pushed all of my plans of just an early evening run into touch, and Monday became an enforced rest day. On Tuesday I got out in the morning with my sisters. We ran down to the waterfront and I got a 5 or 6 mile run in total, very easy pace, knowing that I would be getting out for a longer run in the afternoon. So on our walks around Barcelona on a Monday and Tuesday, I kept on spotting a church at the top of a hill. Well, it was a mountain outside of Barcelona, and I thought to myself, wouldn't it be fun to run up there? So I got into Garmin Connect and planned a route using their heat map feature. Absolutely brilliant. Shows you where are the most popular places that people run, and so you can follow those routes. The original route that it suggested for me included loads of bends and turns, and I thought, no, that doesn't seem right. So I manipulated the route to try and find a nice direct route up the mountain. What I didn't realise or take into consideration, there is a reason why the popular routes are windy and bendy, because the route I chose, the elevation was brutal. And when I say the elevation, I mean the steepness of the climbs. There was a point where I had to climb about 250 steps and oh my goodness, absolute killer. Made it to the top there, about 1,750 feet in total, and then came back down the other way, which was a beautifully meandering trail that zigzagged its way down the mountain. That for sure would have been the way to go up. As you can imagine, I wasn't thinking about pace on that run at all. I was just thinking about making it to the top. But an incredible workout. Goodness me. Let's hope it does some good. On to Wednesday. Wednesday I got out for a short run with my sisters in the morning, and in the evening or early evening my sisters and parents wanted to go and watch some flamenco dancing, and quite frankly that sounded like absolute ball bags. So I went for another run, and oh my goodness, my legs were so dead, so dead. I had a really good feed on the Wednesday night so that I could get out for a good run on the Thursday morning, and I had a cracking run. Did a couple of miles with my sisters first, and then just ran along the waterfront in the sun in Barcelona before flying home. Honestly, it is such an incredible way to see a city, and oh yeah, absolutely loved it, absolutely loved it. On Friday morning I got back into the gym. I was back home in England. I actually opted to drive to the gym because it was pouring with rain, and I just thought, you know what, at this point in the journey I can't be bothered to run in the rain. And I went to the gym and I came home, and in the end had a rest day, which was blissful, which means that I've hopefully got some energy for this run today. Yesterday I got out to the gym in the morning again. Bit of a bonus really. At this point I am easing back on the volume and the intensity at the gym. I'm going to still do my 5 sessions a week, but I am going to take them easy over the next few weeks and really think about them as maintenance more than anything else. I got out for a run later in the afternoon yesterday, another 7 miles, meaning that as I got out for this run I had done 48.5 miles. So let's talk about today's run. This feels like a make or break. As I said earlier in the video, I have been struggling with some pain in my legs. To be completely specific, at the very top of my anterior tibialis. That is the muscle that runs on the outside of the leg, just outside the shin bone. And I don't know if it's a bit of tendonitis or something more sinister, but to be honest, at this point in the journey I'm not getting it checked out. I will deal with it in 3 weeks time. When I'm running it doesn't actually cause me too much discomfort, but at the end of the day it really does start to ache, and I'm having to take ibuprofen before bed. So there is something niggling there under the surface. This run then today, I did half a mile in zone 1 heart rate. That is really just getting the engine started. I then did half a mile in zone 2, and I'm now just cruising in zone 3. Heart rate currently around 150 beats per minute. I have been waiting to kind of get all of the preamble out of the way before I do the next phase of the workout. I've got 5 lots of strides, which are going to be pretty much 95% effort, really just to fire up the muscles, ready for some speed blocks. And after that I've got a couple of miles, again cruising around the 7-minute mile mark, before doing 4 lots of 5k at marathon pace. Honestly, I have no idea how this is all going to go. I'm thinking positive and I hope it's going to be good. Right, I have just turned around at the end of this lane about half a mile now until there's a long straight road, which will be the perfect place to do my strides. And oh, I hope they're okay. My legs feel good, in honesty. At this point, with 3 weeks to go, there's not really a lot that's going to change. I've got 1 more week of work this week, and then it's 2 weeks of taper. I don't think much is going to change. I think there is a lot I would change in my Valencia block, but we'll talk about that once London is done and dusted and we know what we're dealing with. The crucial thing over these next couple of weeks is just keep it all running, keep everything moving. I tidied up my garage on Friday so that I could get back on the turbo trainer for some recovery. I actually got on there yesterday, and I'm going to try and do that daily just to add in some additional zone 2 work, but also just another way of just increasing the flexibility and the movement in my legs. When I turn this corner in about 100 yards, I will hit the lap button on my watch, and that will start my strides. 20 seconds on, 40 seconds off. So pretty much all out, then jog, still at a reasonable pace, and rinse and repeat 5 times. So I'll see if I can keep the camera going so that you can suffer with me. Here we go. Oh, they don't like it. Legs don't like it at all. Don't know what pace we're at. Doesn't matter. Just going to be listening for the beeps. Oh. Okay. Topped out at 4 minutes 15 per mile there. Jog it out. Lost my footing a little bit there. Oh, 22 seconds into the recovery. Doesn't leave you very long before we do it all over again. Five, 4, 3. Oh, okay. Second set done. Recovery. I'll bring you back in for the last set. Okay, that is 4 lots done. 1 more to go. Heading back out on this road because I ran out of road. Bit annoying. Ten seconds to go. They're definitely pushing my engine here. Okay, let's go, finish strong. Okay, and that's that done. 40 seconds recovery. Then I believe a couple of miles at steady pace, I think, back up into zone 3, and then we do the 5k blocks, which in theory should feel easier than that. Heart rate is back down into nicely zone 3, comfortably zone 3, and got about 3/4 of a mile before I go into the 5k blocks. To give you an idea of the timings for those, aiming for 6 minutes and 6 seconds per mile, which should bring me out around the 18:50 per 5k. Now, I've been thinking over the last mile or so, I've put 4 of these blocks in, and I think I put 2 miles in between. I think I've done 5 or 6 miles so far, although I've not been looking, which would mean that this run would actually be marathon distance, and I'm not sure that's a good idea. So we may just do 3 repeats of the 5k. That seems a lot more sensible. That will remove 5 miles out of the run, bearing in mind I'm going to want to have a cool down. I have no idea how this is going to go. I am doing this run today in a pair of Vaporflies. Not a shoe I particularly enjoy running in, but it's relatively lightweight, nice kind of go between from a regular training shoe and the Alphafly, and they're pretty, pink and green, but not my race day choice. Just coming up to this 5k block now, so I'm going to put the camera away, or rather collapse the tripod and just focus on that. I will try and bring you in for the final minute, let you know how that's gone, and then we'll catch up in the first recovery period. See you on the flip side. Just coming to the end of this first 5k block. Oh, it has been really hard. I think I've held the pace, but we'll have to review the numbers when I get home. Oh, my goodness. And that is it. Oh, 2 miles to recover. Was battling a headwind the whole time. That was not nice in the slightest. I'll have to see whether I came in on pace, under pace, or over pace. Either way, didn't leave anything out there. So I'm just coming to the end of my 2 mile recovery, and then I've got another 5k and then a 2 mile recovery. I just checked my watch and I've done 12 miles already. So I'm not even going to do the third 5k. I'm just going to do the 2, because that's going to take me to 17.5 miles, and I've then got a couple of miles to get home. So that'll be 20. And in honesty, given that I am suffering a little bit with this leg outside of the running, I just don't want to risk it. So in a minute we'll go again and give it everything. Oh, it's going to be hard, but we'll get it done. If you ask me right now how I would feel about stringing 8 lots of those 5k intervals together to run a 2:40 marathon, I would say not a chance. But who knows, with the taper, with some really good carb loading, some good recovery over the next few weeks, the addition of crowd, faster runners, and the adrenaline, all things could be on the table at this stage. It's also worth pointing out that I won't be carrying my iPhone, and I'm not going to be carrying my GoPro and the tripod that it is currently on, which will actually save me about 1 kilogram in weight. And I know that doesn't sound like masses, but over the course of 26.2 miles, 42 kilometers, believe me, that makes a hell of a difference. So for now, I'm going to tuck in to this 5k block, and I'll see you on the other side. Second 5k done, and that really hurt. I thought I was running into a headwind on the way out. There was a lot more of a headwind on the way back. Honestly, I don't know how that makes sense, but that was a real battle. Leg is starting to hurt, actually feeling it in my groin. That groin injury that I picked up week 3, which is actually a recurrence of an injury I picked up last year, it's never completely healed. We are going to have to focus on that once the marathon's done. I did not hit the pace for that. I think when I looked, I just came in on the 5k just under 20 minutes there, so disappointing. A couple of other things worth noting: one, not taking on board any fluids during this run. It is hot. That is going to have played some part in this, but not every part. Other part that I think will make a difference on race day is my race day shoes, and not these Vaporflies. Never enjoy running in them. So all I'm going to do now is literally jog home and call it a day. That's a pretty decent run. Not sure what I was thinking when I was planning out the workout. I think it would have been about 30 miles. So that would have been a little bit OTT, wouldn't it? Anywho, let's jog on. When I get back, we will review the data from the garden, because it's a lovely sunny day. See you when I get home. Well, I am back home. I've got a cup of tea, I've had breakfast, I've had a shower, I've done some stretching, and I've got my phone here so that I can have a look through the data, and we can just have a look at how bad or how good this run actually was. First things first, I've got the run up here, and first of all we can see that it was 17.5 miles. I don't know what was going on with my timing, and obviously just misreading something on my watch. Total distance 17.5 miles, average pace 7:24. Obviously there were intervals within that, so let's dial into those. We can see that Strava thinks my fitness has increased. Thank you, Strava. Relative effort 208. Actually got a second in a segment here, Dumble straight, so that's from the roundabout up to Dumble. Hit that in, let's have a look there. Chris Jordan is the number one there. 5:59 per mile I was over that distance. Pretty cool, actually. 5:45 is the pace to beat. So do you know what? That's not too bad. There was a headwind. It was pretty tough, but we're not here to talk about that. Let's have a look at the actual segments here. This is the workout. This is how it looks. So let's just go into there. You can see, as I said, I did half a mile in zone 1, 8:44 per mile, half a mile in zone 2, that's 8:18 per mile. Then I did 3.56 miles in zone 3 at 7:15 a mile, which in honesty was probably a little bit longer than I needed to do for the warm-up, but I wanted to get to that straight bit of road so that I could really do my strides without having to worry about cars or traffics. As you can see, the strides were pretty good. They're these 20-second blocks, 4:38 per mile, 4:46 per mile, 5:03 per mile, 5:10, and then 4:53, with solid recoveries in between, all under 8-minute miles. Then I did another 2 miles at zone 3, 7:22, and the first of the 5Ks, 3.1 mile. That first one I did in 18:46, so 4 seconds faster than pace, which got me 6:02 per mile. Then I recovered 2 miles at 8:12 per mile, and the second block of 5K was 19:54, 6:24 per mile. So, bizarrely, I felt like I was in a headwind on the way out, then I was in even more of a headwind on the way back. But I was hurting on that second one. Real tightness in the that anterior tibialis at the front of my leg, and also in my left hamstring, bizarrely, and my groin. So I'm at this point just a walking wreck. 1.78 miles to get home, average pace 9:58, kind of just limping. I mean, not literally limping, but mentally I was limping home. Look, I think it's actually not that bad. The actual, I don't know if I saw the best efforts. Actually, funnily enough, the thing that caught my attention there was half marathon, 1:29:54. So, do you know what? I know easily I've got a sub 3 in the bag, you know, bearing in mind that that was including, you know, a whole range of different paces. I think I can comfortably do sub 3. 6:24 per mile is the 2:45 pace. So we're just going to have to see. One thing I would say, Vaporflies suck. They've pretty much fallen apart on that run. I've not run in them that much. So I'm glad I'm not going to be running in those. I am going to be running in a brand new pair of Alpha Flies. I might take them out for a 5k beforehand. But who knows? Anyway, I think this is the perfect time to finish this video. As you can see, it is an absolutely beautiful day. Just down there in the garden, I've got to dig a hole, not to bury my marathon dreams, but to put a hole for some concrete for a washing line. It's not all running, it is real life as well. So if you've enjoyed this video, please do hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification so that you don't miss any further videos. Come and find me on Instagram and on TikTok and on Strava at PKSRUNS, and I will see you at the end of week 14, which will be 2 weeks to go. Have a great week, everybody.